Good afternoon from the Second Age of Reason. Today we're going to talk about a slightly interesting topic. Is from our Secretary of State, Kerry, and he is purported in the news to have said something about that the internet makes it hard to govern, or governing is difficult with the internet. Why? Because you have the people getting information, and I'm sure he wants the people to have the information that the government wants the people to have. But I'm just thinking in passing, what is the true meaning of that? Because is he referring to the whole world? Is he referring to certain countries? Or is he referring to this country, America? And the reason it's important is because you know that there are things going on where the government is seeking mastery of the internet. They want to control the internet. Even though in its original design plan it wasn't meant to be controlled, it was meant to be kind of maintained and administered, but not really controlled. And that is a problem, and especially now that people's telephones also connect to internet, and it gives everybody instant communications everywhere. So that way people can see what's really happening everywhere, and not just what the government wants you to see in the mainstream media. So I like to put forward the idea that we kind of had the impression that it was the government of the people, by the people, for the people. In other words, I think the impression I got was Secretary of State Kerry was thinking that the government governs and they rule. And that's the way it works, because those are all the kind of people he deals with day in and day out. The leaders of other nations, and that's how they think of things. But in a government of the people, by the people, for the people, we are the people. And we're the ones who actually govern. And those people, like Secretaries of State and Congress and the President and them, they're not governors. They are governed by us. We are the governing ones. They want us to not realize that, but I'm putting it forward now so that you can think about it and realize that they are trying to usurp your inherent American given authority. They, who serve in what other nations see as the American government, are not a government at all. They are supposed to be our public servants. And they seem to have forgotten that, or are trying to overturn that. So keep that in mind when elections come around, and when you put somebody in Congress, you're not putting them in Congress to have them govern you. You are putting them in Congress to represent you, your interests. You vote. They are supposed to reflect your interests, not the interests of corporations, not the interests of other governments, not the interests of banks. So I thought I would just bring that out and explain it, because it seems as though they only grudgingly admit things, only when it's too obvious anymore. And at the point that they are now seeming to cooperate almost seems too easy. So I have a hunch that our freedom time, our liberty, is at risk. Because they'll say, we can say anything we want, we're just buying time, until they clamp down. For example, you have smartphones, and they have cameras in them for photographs and video. However, I believe some of those phone companies, manufacturers, have a feature in there that they will sell to the governing people or the policing people, so that, let's say something is happening, they don't want you filming that to show what's really happening. They could very easily simply turn your device off, or make it not record, or pull the information out of it, or replace the information in it. Your phone is under their control. So you may want to invest in a more traditional recording device, such as a 35mm camera, or a film camera, or some kind of device that doesn't have Wi-Fi network kind of connections. Just putting forward the obvious and what you should be able to reason out if this is coming down the road. So, what do you think about that? Do you think that the government is to govern you, or is it that you control the government, who is your public servant? You elect them to do that job for you. So, that's all I have to say today, and until later, we'll be seeing you.